everybody, welcome back for another episode of Business Bits.
Business Bits.
Yes, Business Bits. We are here with you today to make sure that you're prepared for retirement and just investing as a whole within your retirement portfolio as a business owner, because we both know business owners have very unique situations that they have to deal with, such as meeting payroll, funding their own retirement, and really just overall carrying the stresses of the business on their shoulders while their employees usually get to go home on the weekends and just kind of let it go. So, Dad, we're going to talk to business owners today a little bit about things involved in our free report, the 5 things that successful business owners do.
This chair's kind of like a pogo stick. I'm getting nauseous. This is what's wrong with the young generation. Everything's got to be ergonomically sound. And instead of having a real chair with a nice orthopedic rest for my back, I'm on a pogo stick. Well, you should see this.
These were ergonomically a bad decision. This was ergonomically a bad decision. But we're going to talk to everybody today a little bit about how you can overcome the 5 biggest mistakes successful business owners make, but we're only going to talk to you about one of those things today. So you're going to have to stay tuned for the next 4 parts of the show over the coming weeks, but we're also going to give you the opportunity to get that report at any time by going to businessbits.tips. So if you want to check that out, go to businessbits.tips, and we're going to have that report on there for you. But if you want to listen to us, we're going to get on into it, because I know, Dad, you've been talking about it a lot in our offices, and I know you want to talk about it today, and that's taxes, because taxes really can cannibalize your portfolio if you don't go about it the right way.
No doubt about it, Mike. You know, this is an exciting subject, and there's a tremendous window of opportunity, Mike, for business owners. And here's what it is, right? If you reminisce about it for a moment, we have the Trump Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which became inaugurated last year. It's lowered tax rates for most American patriots. That's a good thing. But historically, if you look at tax charting, tax rates have trended down and are at all-time lows or discounts. Now, listen, if I'm a consumer and I go into Costco or I go into any particular retail store and I can buy a piece of merchandise or an item of clothing at a 50% discount, I'm going to take advantage of that all day long. You always want to pay your tax when you get a discount. That's very, very prudent. The second thing very important to know is the national debt clock just keeps cranking forward. We've got over $22 trillion in debt. And even though Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, came together with the Trump's administration and his cabinet to agree on what to do about the budget, they actually raised the debt ceiling, and there's no political or bipartisan work being done to try to reel in our just excessive entitlement programs and spending out of control. The third thing, which is almost as like the perfect storm, is we have 24 candidates that are hopeful to become the Democratic presidential nominee, ranging from Bill de Blasio, the mayor of New York, Kamala Harris, the senator from California, the old standards and vanguards such as Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden. But here's the thing. All 24 of them have said on the record that even though they have a different tactical approach, they all want to raise taxes. And the conversation of the bobbleheads always starts the same way. We're going to tax the rich. Let me tell you, I've worked for some really wealthy people over the last almost 40 years. The rich aren't going to pay a whole lot more in taxes. They have businesses, carry forward losses. Who really gets squeezed is the working class, the walking rich, those that maybe have $500,000, $1 million, $2 million, who don't really consider themselves fabulously wealthy, and they're not, but have a good nest egg. Here's my thought for you. Do you know that even if you make too much money and you can't put new money into a Roth IRA, if you're over age 50 and have at least $500,000 or more in IRAs or 401ks, you may have a brilliant, breathtaking opportunity to convert some of that and put it into a Roth to grow tax-free forever. Now you may say, but John, I'll be penalized. No. There's a section of tax code 72T that's an escape hatch if you know how to inaugurate it, and I can help educate you on that. What it allows you to do, though, is maybe get some money out of the high tax district and move it into a Roth or a Roth alternative that if you have a long enough runway to retirement, maybe 10 years or more, you can compound and grow that money, adding sinew and muscle onto bone to really strengthen your anatomy and really have a stronger retirement. Classic example. I was just looking at a client's portfolio the other day, and he told me, hey, John, I'm going to wait to 70 and a half because I sold my business and I don't need the money in my IRA now, but at 70 and a half, I'm going to take it out. I said, okay, great. And what are you going to do with it then? He said, well, I'll probably convert it into a Roth. Aha! Wait, time out. You're in the tax trap. You cannot convert required minimum distributions once you're 70 and a half or older. He says, really? I didn't know that. That's number one. Number two is he plans to reinvest the money, but if he can't put it in a Roth and you're not eligible to put it back in the IRA, you'll probably put it in a what? Another taxable investment. So then the gains on that become taxable. And then if he lives to age 90 and has been an assiduous investor and grown his money in a diversified portfolio that we helped him architect, if he dies at 90, whatever's left is going to be taxed to his kids. He said, wait a minute, I thought there's no death tax unless my wife and I are worth like $23.6 million. That's right. There's no estate tax. And estate tax is a death tax on property of wealthy individuals, such as a portfolio of stocks or the transfer of a business or real estate, such as your palatial home. But it is not, there may not be an estate tax, but there will always be an income tax on the retirement assets. We figured it out that if he just sits on his hands and does nothing over the course of his lifetime, get this, it's probably going to cost him about $700,000 in taxes. Wow. If he does this conversion and we lock in low tax rates that are set to expire or sunset, he's going to knock that down to about $150,000. That's over $500,000 saved over his retirement life. So these are the kind of things that are so important to really get educated about, not only your business, because I'm going to trust that you're great at trade and commerce, whatever the nature of your business, if it's manufacturing or if you're in private practice as an orthopedic professional, which means you wear both hats, the business owner and the practitioner. We want to educate you on things such as de-risking your portfolio.
Yep.
Number one, diversification, not just in a portfolio of stocks, but different asset classes. There's about 15 asset classes. Can you name those asset classes? Here's the thing that I found out over the years. If you can't name more than 5, you're probably missing 2 or 3 that could make a dramatic difference if you incorporated them into your portfolio. And then taxes, as we're talking a little bit about today, is you really got to do battle with taxes because business owners, as a general rule, work extremely hard, but you got to make sure you try to keep as much of what you can in your own safe harbor portfolio, and we'll help you do that. Taxes, though, and doing battle with them successfully in an ethical way, so important to claim that victory.
Yeah, absolutely. The way I look at it, there's probably a year runway of opportunity because I was looking at last night, and it looks like the presidential election is going to go down to probably the last wire again, just like it was a couple years back. Right. So, I mean, disregard the polls. I just go right to Alan Lichtman, and he's calling it beforehand.
Prognosticator, right.
Yeah, he's calling it beforehand. He's called every single election since the dawn of age, and
you never
he's
know.
always right.
Well,
and as of right now, there's 1 or 2 things that if it swings in the way of Trump, he's going to win. If it swings in the way of the Democrats, they're probably going to win.
Right.
But either way, there's probably about a year's runway of opportunity to take advantage of some of those Roth opportunities you discussed prior.
That's right.
Because if the laws change, those opportunities might go away.
Well, it's great that you brought that up too, Mike, because some people do ask, but John, what if the laws do change? It's going to put a kibosh on anything you're talking about. Not necessarily. If you go back over the Tax Reform Act of '86 and different tax history, the jurisprudence of it, you'll find that most often, if you've taken advantage of a strategy when it was available, if the tax law changes, you're usually, no guarantee, but you're usually grandfathered, meaning that you're carried under the old protection of the old rules. So it's very important if there is an opportunity for you, I'm not saying there is, but there might be. If there is, you want to take advantage of it while it is there. The other thing, Mike, is it's going to be probably about the economy, stupid, right? If the economy's doing well, Trump will probably win by a landslide. If not, he won't. But you can mark my words, if the Democrats take both the Oval Office, the presidency, and the Senate, those tax laws are going to be kiboshed. So take advantage of what I'm saying, right?
Yep.
Because sometimes the battle doesn't always go to the swift. It goes to those that are prepared, all right, to take action and take action when they can.
Yep, and going back to the business report that you put together for business owners or successful business owners, anyone may so arrange his affairs that his taxes shall be as low as possible because you're not bound to choose that pattern which is best to pay the government or treasury. there's not even a patriotic duty to increase one's taxes.
That's right.
And that goes back to Judge Learned Hand. I don't even know if that's a real name,
it
but
is.
Judge Learned Hand.
Yeah, he was a great patriot, and he was probably the most famous judge that never was appointed by a president to the U.S. Supreme Court. But he had essentially said that it's, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, but he said it's every American's absolute right to arrange their financial affairs in such a way to legally and ethically reduce their taxes. And you do rightfully so, because it's not, since taxes are mandatory extractions, you have the right to try to limit your tax exposure. And so I think that resonates with most people. Another thing you brought up, Mike, is very important. If you're struggling in your business and you're just trying to meet the payroll, some of this conversation really isn't for you, because what we really are doing is curating customized strategies in our retirement compass plan for business owners who are already at a level of success, that have profits quarter over quarter, that maybe have accrued some wealth in not only their business, but different assets, retirement assets and otherwise. And then the business owner that also wants to do more for their own retirement, but finds themselves suffocating under ERISA pension regulations that really limit what they can do with 401ks, et cetera. An example, I had a client the other day that said, John, I'd love to put more money away from my retirement, but it's too costly. Now that sounds kind of odd on prima facie evidence, right? On the surface. What she really was talking about is it's too costly because if she has to include all of her employees for matching contributions for her plan to not be discriminatory and therefore being entitled to the tax benefits and being righteous, to include all her employees with the number of employees she has, their compensation level, it's oppressively expensive. So she can't really save more through that particular offering for herself, because if she did so, the benefit to herself wouldn't be worthwhile because it's too costly when you factor in all the employees. Similar to group health insurance, right? You know, if you have to provide group health insurance, that's a wonderful benefit, and I congratulate you if you provide it for your employees, but it is also a cost to the enterprise, and you have to make sure that it can be afforded. So these are the kind of things that through business bits like today, or just conversations, we're going to try to bring to you actionable ideas, not recommendations, because we don't know your situation, so you shouldn't act on anything I'm saying as prudent advice. You should just take it as raising your financial literacy, maybe, and broadening your perspective on some of the subjects at hand.
Absolutely. And make sure that you put more money in your pocket, because at the end of the day, when it comes to investing, it's not exactly about how much you make. It's about how much cash flow you have and how much you keep.
That's right.
And taxes can definitely cannibalize that portfolio. So if you'd like to take advantage, learn more about taxes, or just watch this episode on over again, go to businessbits.tips.
Right.
We're going to have a little blog there about this episode and some other tax advice for business owners. And you can also get how to overcome the 5 biggest mistakes that successful business owners make, if you want to check that on out as well. And that's going to cover the next 4 topics we're going to cover in the next 4 shows. So we got the next 4 shows planned out. Makes our life a little bit easy.
We got a blueprint for you, my friends. And at the end of the day, it's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. We have done a lot of the preparation so that you can be carried forward and benefit. You have the tailwinds of our experience and the work that we've already done. And a lot of times, smart business owners align themselves with other smart business owners, not because the other business owner knows more, but because iron sharpens iron, and 3 strands of rope tied together and entwined really strengthens the rope versus 1 strand by itself. You're 1 strand. Your attorney may be another. We might be a 3rd strand that can be entwined together to really make sure you have a sensational retirement future. And that's our heart cry, and that's our passion. So we're delighted you're visiting with us here today. And as Michael says, we've got a lot more of the remaining of the 5 biggest mistakes affluent business owners make. We'll be bringing all of them to you. The next 4 coming real soon.
Yep, absolutely. So until next time, this is Business Bits. We'll be back at it again soon.
Absolutely. Have a great day, folks.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the videos. If you got some more free time, I know you do, make sure you check this video out right here. And if you don't like that one, make sure you check this one out too, or just watch them both. See you guys soon.